Hey YouTube, this is part 2 of Saturday at Scotts. Basically it was a big long video with no introduction, so I'm going to put in a couple of wee sort of introductory bits. So the last one we're just up at Scotts with his FGN, his figuring guitar. This is the Stratty-ish one. And at the end of the last episode, he went and got his tele to do a wee sort of comparison between this and his Fender, and you can kind of see it in my face. It's like immediately you just go, oh, that's better. It is. I mean, to be fair to this though, I mean his tele is a really fancy one. It's like a custom shoppy type job, but it really is. Maybe if you played one of them and then waited a couple of days and played another one through different amps and stuff, but really when you're playing one and then you stick the real one in, it's like it's night and day. You know, there's no. You could argue that which is better for the money, but that doesn't really apply, because then you can sit there and go, well, you know, Squire Bullet Mustang is pretty good for 120 quid. Is it good? Is it 10 times? Is a £1,000 Fender 10 times better? No, it's not. Nothing like it. So, you know, arguably you could argue in there, but you can see me kind of trying, because I was kind of wanting to go, oh, this is as good, and it's a different thing, you know, just to get that extra bit that's just like a steak in a fancy restaurant, you know, like a £50 steak rather than a steak that you make yourself and you get in Asda, you know. Yeah, so part 2. Sorry for the wee, I left it as a wee bit intentional, as a wee bit of a clicky baity thing at the end of the last one, where it was you could just see me kind of go, oh, it's better. So enjoy. I think it's probably going to be 3 parts. I don't know. It depends. Later on, I took the wrong amp. I was taking that wee PV, which I'm actually going to spend some time with today. See if I can, because on its own, if I turned up just that's the only the amp, just that sounds fine. But then when you put it up against a proper amp, it's just crap. So I'm going to go back quite close. That's good.
How you go? Get your go.
Right, so give it a bit of a. Right, use it. Oh, cheers. It's heavier.
This is definitely light.
It's a bit different, isn't it? It's louder. And that's with the tone off. Well, it's better than that. It's just that. It feels actually uncannily like that Ibanez one I had, you know, the 70s tele.
Oh, right, okay.
I put that kind of down to it being old, but this isn't really old, is it?
2003?
I guess you'd argue that is pushing vintage. But that's just got a wee bit of a powdery new feel. I think that's just a satin finish. Because it's gloss, I much prefer this.
It's a very similar mix now to this end, obviously not to this end.
Yeah. See, this has got what you expect with a telly, where the pickups are a bit unbalanced. Oh, maybe not. Still nothing good in it. Right, use it back. Oh. That.
It's quite a tough crowd to compare. This is an 8502 Telecaster.
Do you mean going back to this? And now this doesn't feel much worse than what that one.
Worse?
No. Not as good as.
Oh, right.
It was a bigger jump playing between this and this. I felt that immediately when I go back to this and go, nah, not really. So the initial thing was, yeah, I think that might just be the glossy neck, which I prefer. Not really that much.
It's a very similar feeling neck, isn't it?
Definitely. The just copied it with its straight frets. So it's like win for FGN.
Yeah. This is an 8502, so it's a tough crowd. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To stand up next to and
But
doing it.
It's
Doing it.
yeah, totally. Well, it comes down to sort of preference.
Mm-hmm.
Do you prefer a gloss neck? I think you're still going to take the fender, but you're talking that's what £1,000, 15, a bit, one of them.
Yeah, it's one of those ones.
Yeah.
8502, you don't get them. They're not available. It was the top of the range before you got the custom shop.
Right.
Up until they opened the custom shop.
So it's pretty much as tele as can tele be. Really?
If Carlsberg made Telecasters.
Yeah.
Well, it's got stuff that you don't really see. It's got a single piece ash body.
Yeah.
Right? It's got a quarter sawn maple neck. Single piece. Yeah, that's actually stainless steel.
Right.
Usually it's brass that's been chrome plated.
Yes.
So that's stainless steel. It's Yabara wound pickups on the bridge.
Yabara. We were in there today.
Lady.
Yabaras.
Dad joke. Did we get a thing for that? Yabara. Yeah, it's got a really fancy pickup. Like they call it like a what's it they call it? A twisted tele.
All right.
Type setup.
Yeah, I've heard of that from what's this? Danish Pete's got a twisted tele set or something in it.
Basically the similar idea.
Yeah.
It's really hot pickups and really high output, and it's got the S thing.
Right.
It's pretty cool. So I mean that to stand up to all of that does quite well.
Yeah. In some ways, I suppose. So it's basically it's like an evolution of a telly rather than being a 50s reissue. It's just like it's exactly the same, but we've improved the bits that you wouldn't. That just make it better. They don't change the way it looks or how it feels, apart from making it better.
It's like I suppose cooking a meal. The better the ingredients. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So this good chef, but it's cheaper. I wonder what's the £1,500 one it's like though? Because that's really the standard in the deluxe. Some cost £500 though.
This is the best tale I've ever played. I'm going to say that, of course, because it's mine.
It's really nice. It's like that Fender telly. Nah, not really my thing. And you just go, all right, aye.
Maybe.
It does. You don't have to play it. You just gotta go. Aye. It just does. You know what I mean?
That's why I can't have any other tellies. If you look round about my house, I've got a house full of S-type guitars, and two. Gave one away today. We gave one away to the charity. That was the only other
generation telly, yeah. Because you got the telly one. Maybe it's a wee bit like me with my SG. I don't have any other guitars because the SG was just
that was it, yeah.
That was the one I wanted. I've not really played one that was significantly better, and it's not mine. So
this really ticks all the boxes for telly.
Yeah, the thing I'm gonna. It's gonna have to be a battle. I'm gonna have to dig out my Schecter and because it's gonna fight that.
Yeah, well,
it's more of a.
Once it's got a nice fresh patch, I can't speak tonight. What's this hard?
What's this hard? I was watching the Josh JHS pedals guy earlier on.
Morning. But once it's got new fresh strings and all of that stuff on it, because I noticed one of the things about this guitar is that it lets itself down right there. The bridge saddle.
A wee bit sharp in the corner.
No, with the grub screw undoes itself. It does something. Yeah.
It's too lubricated. You want it to be a bit shitter fitting, so it doesn't move on its own.
Yeah. So the action gets lower on this string just all on its own. But fortunately, it can take it. It's got ridiculously low action for the Telecaster, isn't it?
Yeah.
Plays like a shredder's guitar.
Aye, a shredder like your what's his face? What's that?
George. Him.
Aye. All that. It does have something that makes it sound like that, whereas I don't think. I don't know. Yeah, that's a nice telly.
This is a really nice telly. So we're talking about FGN guitars. Friggin' guitars.
Friggin' guitars. We didn't really over that use that joke as much as I could have. Wanted to.
Mine's is a fucking monster.
Yeah.
It does require upgrades.
Yes.
Which is part of the fun of owning guitars. Really,
I
it's
think so.
part of the
I
fun.
think it just not. It's one of those ones that just doesn't not what it looks like. I get that sometimes. See with the old BC Riches, NJs, and you look at it and you go, "Wow, that's going to be a pure death metal machine." And no, that's going to be a sort of like a Washburn Falcon Les Paul with switches on it type thing, rather than being the spiky death machine you expect it to be. And that looks like it should be your hot rodded Charville J.K. Lee type thing, and it's
very strong.
In some way, it sort of is. It's got some of the things. It's got the compound radius. And
when you grab another guitar, just run comparisons again. This one.
I intentionally put that there so you could.
This one. Yeah. Both made in the same factory. And both share quite a lot of the same finishing quality, I would say.
I don't know how they do it.
They do look kind of related, don't they?
Definitely. I think if
brothers,
it's
man
just
of
not
kind
quite. It's like that AZ or the EZ Stratocaster, where it's
obviously
somewhere in between that and a Strat.
It's just the way it's all finished and the way it feels in your hand. It's very similar to this one, which is a.
I don't know. Is it racist to say it feels Japanese? Just like
that's a good thing though.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's just.
Well, that's
you don't get the wee finishing flaws and stuff you just expect to see in everything. They're just not there.
Yeah, they're very perfect, aren't they?
And the routing.
So either a genuinely good pair.
So my favourite, superficial things, my favourite things about this guitar is the routing. There is just fantastic. And it's because it's white, you can see it. It is on that, but it's dark. It's in shadow on a dark. It doesn't look as impressive. And also these knobs, which look like sort of tele knobs from the front. When you look at the top, they're really short. They're really cool.
It's got a much better voice pick up than it is. Just right off the bat.
It is. It's not really meant to be a Strat, whereas I think this kind of is. Actually, do you know what's a little bit like this? You seen my West Tone Clipper? You know the white telly thing? It's not on similar styling as in it's all white, it's got no scratch plate, it's just got the one humbucker. But it's got like skinny frets and it's meant for country picking. Yeah. It's got a humbucker, but you can't have it in humbucker mode, you can only have it in single coil mode, so it is, and it was a pure massive country tele for country players, giving it pure telly, even though, so I'd imagine there must have been a Strat like that at the time where people were buying, no, I want to sound country, but I want to look modern as opposed to the other way around.
Yeah. This is a good guitar. This is my favourite, actually. Cheers.
You got a favourite?
This one.
Oh, I can't commit to it. I should just not commit to it until I checked her telly.
Do you know, when you're like yourself, privileged enough to have a few guitars to swap between, this one does stand out every time you pick it up and plug it in.
Are you always slightly like, oh, this one's really good every time you play it? I've got a few guitars, they've got that feeling.
Seriously.
I've just plugged that one in so you can play through a 5-watt PV with no sound. Now, then see how it deals. Yeah! You said you check there, Scott.
I should be playing Green Day cover with that.
It's awful. That's like I didn't bring the laney because it was pissing it down. I didn't want the water to go in the top of it. I should have.
That's what we would call locally a jobby.
It's bad, isn't it? Yeah. It's a completely different neck though. It's so different. I mean, comparing the two guitars, I know the pickups and that one's plugged into my amp.
Yeah, this does feel like a Strat. It feels more like a Fender-y kind of guitar than it does. That feels like an Apache Attack helicopter in comparison.
Kind of looks like an Apache Attack helicopter in comparison as well.
But the neck, you have to agree, is
It's completely different, but phenomenal.
it's very comfortable.
Oh yeah, totally.
In every position, and the switches is great. When you've got it, you can turn it up, and every position is just lovely. Do you want clean? There you go, clean. You can strum through.
I suppose that's your a true single coil. Because it's just middle pick up on its own. Is it?
That is it. Still, where you can actually get the second position sound really by having a single coil in the middle. I think.
Yeah.
But it's very cleverly wired. I'm getting that switch again in this guitar.
No, this is a 3-way. I was just wondering how the 5-way is it? It's humbucker.
It's outside coil, middle coil.
Right. So you get the
It's
3 middle
middle
positions
coil
on a
through.
Strat, but a humbucker on either end. I think
Yeah.
it might be. I don't know if it's the same fancy switch.
There is one that has.
That you wire it up a different way, but it's the same switch. I
There's
don't
a
think you can do that with a standard
There's
switch.
a version of this guitar with a switch there that does something else. I don't know what it does, but I was thinking about putting one there and have it in as the dog thing, outside coils thing.
Right.
'Cause that's the only thing that guitar doesn't have.
Yeah.
But it's lovely.
It's actually, see the reason it's this matte is it so that it sticks to your, it doesn't slide. I've never really noticed it. It's just it's not.
It doesn't move around your lap like this one, no.
So is that really the
It
reason
could
for
be.
the matte finish?
It
Is
could
just
be.
like a pure super, like the same way, so you can't see it at night with the hit radar off it and shit, as well as not sliding at all.
The other
You
problem,
should make flying V's out of this, then you could play it sitting down.
stick to your knee, stick to your body if you've got enough sweat on you. But yeah, it's also a FGN guitar.
And what year was it? This FGN?
That's a 2008.
2008, so 10 years older than. You just wonder. I mean, some of the same people make some of it. I don't know how big these factories are.
You can tell they're of a similar quality though, sorta. That one's
More much. It's got the features. That's no.
more basic.
It's just, well, it doesn't have this trim. I suppose which makes it more basic.
It doesn't have the 5-piece laminated neck.
It doesn't know, but that's because it's a Strat.
No, it doesn't have the volute.
Oh, it doesn't have the volutes. I do like the volute. It doesn't have the special truss rod that they had to invent for this guitar
That
to make it
guitar.
thin enough. A different type of truss rod.
Weird neck joint that guitar's got.
The A is that it's an AANG. It's called an
Something
all
like that,
access neck joint or
Yeah.
something.
It's very nice.
It's just
nicely done.
yeah. I mean,
It does fit right in your handle, doesn't it? It's weird. So does this though, but it's the amount of thought that's gone into redesigning a guitar is what they've basically done on
Yeah.
that guitar. That's
It's
why I think that guitar was
it's
so popular.
it's like your what's the blue Mitsubishi? Is it the Mitsubishi or
the Evo.
the Evo? Where it's like if you go up your but we can turbocharge that, or we can, you know what I mean, get another blah 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 so much horsepower out it, so you get like Evo 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
5 and 6. It's kind of like an advancing thing, and this is
The weird thing about
that sort of thing.
the weird thing about them is everyone that you pick up's kind of a bit like that. Do you know what I mean? They're always at the high end, like the Japanese RGs. And
Yeah.
The Gem, I really like the Gem. It's just too blinged out for me, and that's basically
The
answer
absolute
to it.
opposite of the
Yeah, but
Antichrist.
it's the same guitar essentially. It's made out of the same. In fact, it's not. That one's made out of some fancy mahogany.
Right.
Yeah, and then they covered it in paint.
And you're keeping the V8, V7 and V8 pickups. I gave a set of them to a guy in Newcastle because I just thought they were shit.
No,
I kept seeing them. I'm sure I kept seeing them for a tenner and all that. Got them in a parts box and it's
When I
like,
first bought the guitar, I was going to change the pickups. In fact, that was one of the reasons for buying the Joey Santuni.
because I had the.
I was going to rape and pillage, and then just punt on the.
That might be the way to get good pickups. I've certainly done that. I've bought a lot of guitars that have come with Seymour Duncan in it or something, and it's like no longer. Or it's had DiMarzio. Actually, I was talking about Area Urchin. Do you see the Area Urchin on Facebook? Talking about that, and I bought that. My pal Wayne got me it, and I sold pickup for the same amount I got for the guitar, because the guitar had a T-top Gibson in it.
Nice.
It didn't sound good. I haven't found the right pickup to put in that guitar. It sounded pretty horrible, and I got the same price I paid for the whole guitar. So basically I just sold that and got the guitar free, but I'm still not put the right pickup in it.
I just found a niffy bit on a fret.
A what?
It's not that I do that often. Sometimes I do. It's going back. I'm joking. No.
You can't, it wasn't you.
It's not you. It's going back. Fetch me my angry hat.
Yeah.
No, that's what. Yeah, but I do highly recommend these guitars for what we got them for.
There's not really. I keep seeing there's another one, another tele.
We could quite literally put the money we paid together, and I still wouldn't be surprised at that how much the guitar would cost, or that guitar.
Yeah. Well, put the two of them together, you get a Mexican Strat, don't you? Like what we paid. A new Mexican Strat.
Yeah, a new Mexican Strat. Or Telecaster.
That was tele, I mean. Right. I was looking at it saying Strat, but yeah, totally.
Yeah, but either of them, you could get a Strat or a Telecaster.
Or you could get a Strat and a Telecaster. I suppose that way.
I would probably be inclined to recommend these ahead of Fenders if you're going for a Strat. Straight up Strat.
Well, but there is. I don't think it's not that much more expensive, or it's the same price. There is another one which is. You see them in Germany for sale, and it's the Boundary one, and it's basically it's a humbucker single, and it's no tremolo. Maybe it does it.
There's a tremolo version of this.
There's definitely one that's a bit more stratty. Same thing, but
and it's got a scratch plate as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're about 100 quid.
Right, a wee bit more.
Yeah. Even that is better than a Mexican Strat.
Yeah. It's got circle frets. Sitting here playing your Ibanez, it doesn't have circle frets. I take it the reason it says it on it is because it'll be trademarked. They'll be trying to hold it from somebody.
I suppose that people don't use the same fretting system.
Yeah. But be aware in 10 years' time when people start going to look at your guitar shop after your eye went, frets done. What kind of frets do you want? You know, medium, jumbo, circle. Like
hard stare.
Hard stare.
Yeah.
You said you could buy anything. It's going to be me that's going to hit it. make sure they're not.
One of the things about that guitar is the fretwork on it though. Even though they're not circle frets.
No.
They're really nice frets.
They are. For being straight.
Look at the ends of them and everything. Every single one of them's absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Same as these though.
It's hard to. I mean, it's amazing that they're putting. When you look at something as anyone's ever played, it's like the top of the range Ibanez. It's like trying to find any detail that isn't perfect as a pure. It doesn't happen. And anything you find is like because I banged it or I dropped it. It's not. It's never.
In comparison,
and you're comparing it to a guitar cost a third as much, and
something
still
else. It's like comparing it to a car. That's like a McLaren.
Yeah. No, it isn't the price. I still think it's like an Evo.
No, it's not. If you think about this, is what 500 quid, 450 quid, 500 quid, something like that.
I think it's fitting at 555. Yeah, I think at 550.
They're 2.2 at the moment.
Right.
2.3.
Yeah. Right, so you're talking about like a.
See, what you need to do is, see when you're looking up guitars, look up Team J-Craft. If you get a Team J-Craft to start at $2,000. But there's a reason for it, and it's that.
It's the absolute.
And saying that, well, this isn't a million miles away. It's better in some aspects. More comfortable at this.
Yeah, but that's not a
compound radius.
That's not a design.
See,
that's a design.
That's got a compound radius neck on it too, though.
Is it? Yeah. It's so. Really.
It's got more of a curve on it at the top than it has at the bottom. It flattens out to 10 I think.
Well, they used millimetres. I don't know, 9 1/4 inch radius to a thingy radius.